All right, so welcome to Mystical Motivation. It is another Sunday to be motivated, and today we're going to be talking about motivation and the little things. And Astrals, do you kind of want to touch on what the little things?
For sure. So the little things are a variety of things. They're your adorable friends who might just be a tad bit shorter than you. They could be the small victories in life. That may have been a short joke. I apologize. That tends to happen. It's the little victories that you get to do in a day. It's the things that just kind of help you get through and you realize I've accomplished something and I've done something. I mean, Cammy, what would you say are like one of the little things that gets you through a day? And also, if you'd like to introduce yourself as our special guest today.
All right. Well, I'll start by introducing myself. So I am Camille. You might know me on social media. I go under the name LadyCamilia on all sort of social media. I'm a cosplayer, a content creator, and that's about it. I think for the introduction part. Motivation wise, I think we can all agree that this last year has been a shit show of a year. And I think, whoa, the short jokes. Okay, sorry, I just read it down. And yeah, I think this year has been, yeah, kind of a shit show. With everything that happened and everything we could not do, and the way we just go through our everyday life have been like pretty much like thrown out the door, like forget about it. So I think for myself, like the little thing that matters a lot is just every little thing you accomplish just like adds up, and that's the one thing that motivates me the most. I am a sucker for checklist, and how do I love like checking off the things that I do through the day. I think that's one of my biggest motivation. Do the things so I can check them off.
Please tell me on your checklist you have at the bottom finished checklist on the checklist. Please.
I do not actually.
Oh my god. You have to start adding
Yeah.
that.
Is that just a free point? Like, do the list. Check.
Exactly. It's a motivator to do the list.
I'm the
The
same exact
motivation.
way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with the checklist, I make a to-do list every single day, like because it just helps so I don't feel so overwhelmed with like what I'm supposed to get done throughout the day. So I make a checklist, and I love checking shit off. It makes me feel so happy.
But I have a really bad memory, and often if I don't write them down, I forget about the things. So especially like with university, like I'm a lit student, I have so many things to do for my classes, so I have to write everything down. Otherwise, I forget, and I end up being on the day assignments or doing. I'm like shit, I did not do the thing. So because of that, like it's a mania. Like I'm always writing everything down to the point, and
The
but yeah,
student, I was going to say the student lifestyle. It's something to be desired.
it's pretty hectic. No, it's not desirable. I don't think so. Being constantly stressed and broke and tired and like running on caffeine exclusively, like living the dream.
But you have checklists.
I have checklists. I have so many. Like I could pull it out like for the semester, the kind of checklist I have. A typical like checklist for school
Oh
where
man.
everything is separated like by class, and then everything I have to do for class. And then I have a separate set of a checklist for like my social medias and for the content that I produce. That I have to do, otherwise I forget everything. So I just have like those checklists, and that I can just keep track on what I do for like Patreon or like OnlyFans or whatever. It's just my social media regular posting. Because otherwise I forget and I don't do it. Then I feel like crap because I didn't do it.
I mean, that's fair though, right? Like, if anything, too, like a checklist really gives you clarity of what things you're trying to accomplish and what your workable goals are to really get motivated. I mean, both of you are big in the checklist. For me, checklists, I do them the odd time, but I do them on a sporadic moment. It's more like if I feel like I have a lot to get done in the day that I know I'm not going to remember, I'll make one. But aside from that, I kind of do it based on memory. But even then, it's just a little satisfaction when you put that nice little check beside something, knock it off.
It's the best part of it.
I mean, there's some other things in life that are deemed like the little things too, right? Like there's even getting out of bed is a little thing for some people. It's the fact, it may have been a tough time you're going through, but you're managing the energy to get out and at least do something. Making yourself a good breakfast. Maybe you've gone out and done a 10-minute walk, and that's like a breath of fresh air. Like anything really in a day can be a little thing. Like what would you guys say is the most obscure little thing that would bring you motivation or happiness in a day?
Making your bed in the morning. It's silly, but I don't know. I actually read an article on that. That makes no sense. But one of the big reason why I feel it's motivating is like it's the first thing you accomplish in the morning. You get up, you make the bed. It's like one thing done right away, and then you can build up on that. So like my morning routine is literally like I get up, make the bed, feed the cats, make coffee, and then I get started on the day. But when I reach the point of okay, let's get started, I already have like all those things done. And I'm like, okay, let's get going, and I just like build on the momentum, and I feel like it really helps to just get motivated to do stuff in the day.
I like that. Lil, what's like your morning routine?
Well, we take the dogs out. That's the first thing we do in the morning. But if Josh beats me to it, I always go through all my social medias in the morning. I do that when I wake up, and then also before I go to bed. That way, I'm not doing it throughout the day. Except for I've been watching a lot of Ink Master on Facebook watch videos lately. That's been my thing. But other than that, like I go through that in the morning, and then once I'm up, I take a shower, and then if I have a stream, I'll do my makeup, whatever I have to do to get around. And that kind of gets me up and going. However, after that, sometimes it's a struggle to stay motivated to keep doing whatever I'm doing. If I stay up, though, I'm usually fine. So as long as I'm like just continuing on with that routine, my checklist is definitely like my biggest help, though, because it feels so good to like check things off that list, and it does keep me very organized. I rely very, very heavily on that to-do list because I'm so, I rely on it very heavily because my memory is really bad, and I'll forget to do things, and I get overwhelmed very easily. And when I get overwhelmed, I kind of shut down. So having that list really helps too. So just following that as closely as I can and being able to check things off really helps as well. And then once I get in a groove with that list, it's usually the more stuff I get done, the easier it is to get more done, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I mean, like Cami said, when she gets through morning, she's building off the momentum of things she's accomplished. When you're getting through your checklist, you're building off of the things you've accomplished. I mean, my morning's normally a little bit slower per se. I don't take out the dog, have a dog or cat, or would be nice. But like for me, when I first get up, I'll take like 10 minutes just to kind of browse through social media to like actually wake up, and then I'll try and do like a morning workout for 10 just to kind of be like, okay, I'm up. Because I am terrible at waking up early. It's my biggest fault that I probably have as a person. I will stay up to the nth hour of the night if I could, and unfortunately, especially with work right now, I have to get up at like 5 or 5:30 in the morning, and staying up as late as I like to is not conducive to an early morning. So I need to do a workout to actually be like, okay, I'm up, I'm awake. But
Get the blood flowing.
Exactly, and like to me, that's one of the little things because like unfortunately, concussion while recovery is finally back, but with not working out for like a year, gain weight, and unfortunately, that has amounted to like 40 pounds I need to lose. So that's not much of a little thing. That's a lot of thing. The little thing in the morning is going to help me lose the lot of thing, which kind of ties into a point. The little things actually amount up in a lot of ways to a lot of things. You accomplish a lot of little things to, at the end of a day or end of a week, maybe end of a month, accomplish a big thing, which can give you a big feeling of success and motivation, being like, I've hit my goal, I've hit my milestone, I've hit a good point to be at. And we lose sort of sight of the little things along the way to that goal, because it's easy to walk through a field of flowers, but it's a lot harder to stop and smell the flowers, to take that time to realize what you've actually done in a day.
Oh, that's definitely right. I also feel like sometimes, talking for myself, one of my big issue is when you start to see everything at the same time. Like for example, when I'm at the end of the semester and all I think about is, okay, I have to work then, and then I need to do like X amount of assignments and do all of that things. And when you look at it as a whole, you freak out. Like there's just so much to do, and that's also a point where I feel like the list help, because when you have it written down, or just when you take everything you have to do like once at a time, that's when you can start to get over it. If you just see everything as a big mountain, I mean, you won't be able to shovel it away. You need to like one bit, like one thing at a time, and then it just becomes easier to get through it.
Yeah, like taking it apart piece by piece. I mean, that's I don't want to say that's like a fundamental way to tackle a problem or a goal, but it is something that people do forget, because when they see something, they get, I don't want to say terrified, but it's sort of like nervousness or taken aback by just how big a project might be. But if you really take that time to take a look at it and see, maybe it's not as intimidating, or I don't need to be as nervous about the project as I need to be if I take it step by step, right? You come along with a quote unquote list of goals to sort of tackle the problem and get there, right? You make a checklist on how to tackle it and get to it, to get to your end part.
Oh, for sure. It's less overwhelming that way.
Yeah. What's like, so the little things amounting to a big thing. What is like your big thing?
Yeah.
Big thing for this year. What is something you want to accomplish?
Oh boy. Well, I think like surviving is like the big one, right? With everything that's been going on lately, I feel like if I can, reach the end of the day or reach the end of the week, having the feeling that, okay, you know what, I did good this week. That's where I'm going right now. Like, I don't feel like with the pandemic and we don't know what's going to be going on in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months. I feel like trying to set goals that are so big, you just won't know if you'll be able to do it given the circumstances. So for myself, I'm really just trying to go one bit at a time and just see how it's going and then build onto it.
Sure. Lulu, what about you? I mean, I know you and I have talked about goals on the side, but like, big thing for the year, big thing you want to push for and get done.
I have a couple things that I'm trying to do, which I think I have bitten off a little bit more than I can chew, but I'm going to do my best because I'm stubborn and I'm going to get it done. There was a slight change to Witch's Hour, so I'm trying to adjust with that and make that go smoothly. I want to get that out on Spotify. I want to get the other podcast situation figured out also and put that up on Spotify. I also want to attempt to reach partner, but if not stressing it. Just if it happens, awesome. If not, great. But at least like get my viewership up because I am doing this full time right now. Right now though, I'm trying to focus on just getting my shit together, quite frankly, just in a broad sense, because I'm trying to get like a more, what's the word? Like I'm trying to get a more general, my brand more tied together. My overlays right now for my stream are super busy. So after I get through this month of hell in terms of rent and car and trying to figure out the financials and trying to make this adjustment, I want to have Peachy make new overlays so that they're not as busy, and it does kind of bring in that chill vibe that I try to bring to the streams and stuff. And basically just really solidifying my brand, I think would be the overall goal of 2021 for the year. That is the overall goal. And I think that bigger picture is what's going to bring me to those other three bigger things. And then just kind of the minute details of figuring out how the hell to do podcasts and actually get them out as a podcast and not just put them on YouTube. And also just like learning more about editing and stuff like that. So just a lot of bigger projects that I don't think are going to be as big once I learn how to do them.
For sure.
One bit at a time.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Like I'll sort of sidebend for a sec to put on. So everyone's got their own little things and their own goals to get to. And we've talked about in the past, friends being part of your motivation circle, them being people that help you, support you, and give you encouragement, ideas to believe in yourself to get further things done. But I think it's also fair to say that in that same circle, how your friends motivate you, your friends' little things are also the same little things that you're working towards, and your little things sort of coincide, right? Like it's a social dynamic together. So if a friend's got a little thing that they just did and it's going awesome, you celebrate with them and they celebrate with you. And like to the point on tackling the little things, like both of your views and things you're trying for the year kind of tie in, right? Lilo, you've got like a lot of big projects you want to get on, and Cammy, you're trying to take things a day at a time. In order to get things done for the bigger projects, you have to take it a day at a time. And to know what you want to focus on, you want to have an idea of what your big projects are. There's a lot of tie-in into how the little things work with motivation. It's a very linear process, but there's a lot of different ways that the linear process sort of goes on. So I don't know, like what's your view on different types of little things? Like how would you categorize the different little things in life? What are some categories you throw for it?
I have like big three categories. Like I have, my personal life, personal self. I have my content creation on.
Hmm.
I'm halfway through my bachelor degree, and this is a big chunk of what I'll be doing, right? Since it takes up basically half the year while I'm just studying full time. So I'm really trying to separate those three things, and I normally do a bit of everything in a day, just so you get to touch on everything and stay afloat too, because I don't want to focus so much on school that I'm not able to keep up with my social.
I think we lost Cammy there first.
And doing a bit of everything every day. I think that helps breaking it down. um, keep doing it, right? And there's always some parts you enjoy more, so doing a bit of each every day, for me, it's a big help to stay motivated.
No, agreed, definitely. I think we just kind of lost you there for a second, Cammy. So I might
uh
just re-edit that
Oops.
out. If could
Okay,
I
yeah.
just ask you to
Internet is
re-summarize that? Sorry.
okay. You might lose me. I think my internet is being really
Uh-oh.
day. I don't know why it's been doing that for a couple of days. You should, yeah. Okay. So yeah. Basically, splitting all of my small project and all the things I do. I split them in three categories. So my personal life, my academical life, and whatever I do on the side. So like my social media, my cosplay, the streams, and all the other things I do. So by doing, bits of everything every day, there's like a part of good stuff. There's things you don't enjoy as much, but by mixing them, my English is not easy today. I am sorry.
Good, you
So
good.
by mixing it up a bit of everything every day, I think it's just easier to stay motivated and get through the list. Makes it better.
Nice, I like that. Lo, what are like some categories you'd classify your little things?
And they're also integrated at this point, especially since I started streaming full time. I'm literally just trying to survive right now. like, right now, I would say the little things in terms of just things I'm focusing on are for categories. Sorry, that question took me high key off guard because clearly I have not been separating them and I should have been. Obviously, trying to get through just life and trying to survive with bills. So, just like real life stuff or adulting,
Hmm.
I guess I'll say. Um, Also, just in terms of not like financials, just personal mental health, which has been kind of like a struggle the past couple of days. I've been really struggling with like the whole, which we've talked about in the past, so I know better, but like comparing myself to other people instead of comparing myself to where I was to where I am now instead of to other people. I've been doing that and I need to stop doing that, which I recognize that's a little thing that I need to work on. Um, and I'm working on it, but that's a category that needs some tweaking. And then, yeah, this question took me high key off guard. My bad.
Good.
Adulting, the personal, just mental health stuff, and then content. Obviously, I say that content's kind of broad, but like I just like doing smaller creative things, tweaking things here and there to figure out like what people don't like, just kind of, and also just exploring myself as a content creator to figure out what I like doing and allowing myself to be more creative. And I have found that I do enjoy doing certain things that I didn't think I was going to like doing, like the Discord community nights. I didn't think I was going to like those as much as I did. So just little things like that, I think. So I think those are probably my big three. I don't really know if that answered the question, but like I said, it kind of took me off guard because they're so integrated at this point. And like I said, right now in this like transition period between going from a full-time job to now full-time streaming, I'm literally trying to survive, and I'm really thankful I have Josh, but I'm like surviving off survival instincts right now. So it's all kind of integrated in a mess right now, and I'm just taking it one day at a time.
I mean, that's the best way to go about it, though, right? Like we talked about before, to tackle big problems, tackle it one piece at a time. It's the little things. The little things are how you tackle away and get through. Keep motivated to do it. But I'll repose the question: Do you need to separate? Do you have to have different categories?
Like for me and my lifestyle, I don't think so because they're so integrated. Like my content creation right now is kind of paying my bills. So, I mean, and Josh, but they're kind of helping that. So it is needed for me to quote unquote survive. That sounds really dramatic, but you know what I mean? Like, so it's very integrated. Whereas like maybe a streamer who does have a full-time job, they can categorize that a little bit more. You know what I mean? So I think it really just depends on the person and how much they want to categorize, quote unquote, the little things.
For sure. I mean, sort of stemming from that as well, it also, like you just said, ties into the aspects and parts of where you're at in life. Right now for you, every little thing is tying into surviving. It's tying into growing and getting a foothold so you can keep doing things. For Cami, I'll go in that it's probably around the same part. I mean, we're all trying to survive. 2020 was a shit show and a half, and then some. And so far 2021's been quote unquote good, positive. We got Cami here today. This is a good little thing because we talked to her in 2020 about bringing her on, and we've accomplished the little things. So like there's some fun for us to keep us motivated to keep doing this, but to also just kind of realize where all your little things sort of tie in, and maybe they don't need to always be so separated. Like keeping them just as I'm working to get by. Like
no, definitely.
And like there's a ton of different little. Like, we've touched on a bunch. We've given examples of it, but what are things we want to do to keep motivated on? It's like yes, accomplishing the little things gives us motivation, but let's say you have like a full list of little. Like how do you even know what little thing to start on or what little thing to recognize, right? Like what's your key identifier in getting started on something?
To sort my priority list, I go first with the thing I have to do. So let's say if I have an assignment, I'm gonna do the assignment. Or if I say, okay, we're like the 50th in the month, and I need to get my content out for, let's say, Patreon. So my priority is gonna, to make the content happen. And I set my priority with the things like if I have to get something done, I'm gonna start with the obligations, right? But besides that, I really just go with what makes me feel good at the moment. So let's say I have a couple of things to do, like which one, I'm feeling excited to do, and I'm just gonna go like that. And nobody wants to be forced to do things we don't want to do. Like that's the big motivation killer for me, to just do things that I'm, not feeling entertained by. So sometimes just this, okay, you know what? I want to do that today. I'm going to do that. And I'll be really happy and proud of myself once that's going to be done. And you can move on to, whatever else you feel like doing in that moment. So for me, I think that's that's the good way to do things.
Yeah, that's a good way to recognize though, right? Like it's so we touched on a couple episodes back. The feeling of being of pride and being proud. And sort of self-satisfaction in them. They're like we mentioned. So pride often gets connotated as being, quote unquote bad, the sin of pride. But that's more when your attitude is prideful without reason to be. Like it's fine to take pride in your work and pride in where you're accomplishing and pride in what you're doing, and taking pride in doing the little things. Like you should be proud when you get something that brings you happiness in the day. I'm happy and proud when I make a new deck for MTG, despite what my wallet might think. You gotta have you gotta take happiness in, and I think your approach is really good, right? Like you're getting something. There's a bit of immediate self-satisfaction, which people will say might not always be the best self-approach, but that sort of self-satisfaction is what gets you the feeling to keep going, because you like that feeling of accomplishment, you like that feeling of getting something done. And you like that it's putting you in a positive mind state that I did get something done. It's not just like oh, I'm doing it for the sake of doing it. I'm doing it because I want to do it and I like to do it. I'm getting stuff done in my life to make me happy. And like Lil, you've got like a big task going on with this whole rebranding. How are you approaching your rebranding situation? Like, tying it everything, getting thing every all together, like surviving. What's your hit on starting off?
Don't follow my path because I don't recommend it. No, I'm just trying to survive. I'm basically just doing it like piece by piece. I'm waiting till I can get the layouts before I change my name. I'm taking out the 28 because after talking with my mom, because I did change it on Discord, I took out the 28, but before I change it on all social media platforms, I was talking with my mom and she took out the 28 on the logo. It doesn't really it flows off the tongue nice or whatever, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense in terms of it's just my favorite number. So I think I would just like it better without the 28 on there. So I'm going to take that off, and then the layouts are probably my biggest priority right now, is because right now my layouts on my stream are incredibly busy, and that's not the vibe I'm going for. The vibe I'm going for is very calm, not necessarily super laid back, because sometimes it can get really intense depending on the game I'm playing, but at least the layouts can be a little bit more laid back, especially last night. Oh my god, Red Dead was pissing me off. Not the point, but oh god, I was so mad. I just need to get it out, okay? I was so mad. There was a river and it was just okay. I'm done. I'm done. Anyways, but yeah, so basically just making those layouts a lot more calming, kind of taking out a little bit more of the black, adding in more of the white. I've started
right, because ultimately your brand is you. It is you as a person. It is you what you represent. It is your community too. I want to touch on what you just did though with venting. Is venting not a little thing to be happy about in the day? Should we not be happy that we're releasing pent up feelings to feel better about it?
Yes and no. I don't know. I feel like when I'm venting, I'm just in a state of mind, and I'm just so frustrated or discouraged. And yes, it's a feel good to let it out, but there's other ways to achieve the same thing. Sometimes I feel when for myself, when I start to vent and when I get into this space of mind, sometimes it's really hard for me to get out of it, and then it just it kind of screw my day over because I'm not able to get out of that mindset. For if it's just a random thing that happens and then boom, you talk about it and then okay, you feel better about it, and you get over with it. It's okay. But for myself, sometimes it's really hard for me to get away from the mindset, and then it just drags me down for the rest of the day. So I'm trying to avoid it when I can. Mm-hmm. It's okay to talk about an issue without necessarily venting, without losing your temper or giving into the frustration. You can learn from the things that don't go as well, but in my way, I kind of just let it go until I feel calm enough to approach it, and then just have a clear head and discuss about it. That's more my approach, because otherwise it just kills my mood, really.
Right, it'd be negative comment.
Depends on the situation, because there are some places and people I would vent to, and there are some places and people I would not vent to. Yeah. Last night, granted, it got away from me. Normally, I don't rage at games. I try really hard not to. It got away from me because I was really, really mad. So I think it is healthy to an extent, as long as you're not taking it too far. Had I chucked a controller at my monitor, I feel but that's not really venting. That's just straight up aggression, at a thing, which I do struggle with. That I don't, but I control it on stream and stuff like that. But I do think it depends on the situation when it comes to venting, and it's very much a read your audience type situation. I felt comfortable doing it here because I know I'm among gamers. I know I'm among streamers, so I understand that I'm among people who get it and who understand that sometimes games are so infuriating that you just need to let it out because they can be so rage-inducing. But, if I was at work talking about, yeah, this game pissed me off so much, or if I was in an office setting talking about how I couldn't shoot this damn person and they were trying to blow up my ship, completely different situation, and I could like potentially lose my job, or I would at least maybe lose respect of my peers, you know what I mean? So I definitely, with all things in life, I say this all the time, but with all things in life, there's balance to be had, and there's a time and place for everything. And if you're in a situation where you feel you need to vent immediately, like try to step out, call a friend you trust, find a quiet, safe space, or just like focus on your breathing or something. But yeah, it's definitely about time and place and finding that balance.
For sure. So let me pose it this way then. So maybe venting isn't a little thing, but let's say you struggle with a very stressful job. You want to try to keep positive and motivated. Would you not maybe say that in a day, giving yourself the time of day, maybe 10 minutes to release it in a positive freight could be a little thing you could check off then?
I'm gonna stay quiet on this one because I quit my job, so.
No, but even still, I don't just mean even like with a job, but with gaming, with anything in life that can cause you stress. Giving yourself 10 to 15 minutes a day or another way to handle it and release it. Could that not be a little? No, it's giving yourself an outlet to, like Cami does, get herself into a positive mindset after she's done it. Otherwise, if she releases it in I don't want to say the wrong way, but just goes out and releases it and sticks to it, the emotion rages on and boils down. And I'm much the same. If I'm in a very venting mood and I continue on, for me it's like a warpath. Lilith's heard me when I'm angry. It's I am pissed off when I am pissed off. It happens. But I will go on it until like I finally just vented it all out, and it's not the best way to handle it. Like so for me, like when a stressful day, like I check this off as a little thing in my day. I come home and I'll have like a 15-minute nap when I get home from work to just have a little recharge, and that's a check off the day for me for a little thing I did, because I've self-reflected, I've let myself relax, and I've let myself get ready for a good night. I don't know, like what do you guys think? Would you classify that as a little thing?
It's not something I ever experienced, to be honest. Like, I'm the kind of person, something doesn't go my way, I just quit as soon as I can. Even like on the, if you say like professionally with my job, I have a new job. I'm just so thick-headed. I just like stick with it because at the time I thought like that was pretty much my only ish option. Especially this year with quarantine, and it's super hard to find new jobs. We're in complete lockdown here again, so like I'm lucky I have the job I have now. But options were super limited, so I never felt like I could get away from it and relax. I'm too dependent of it right now as it is. For things that you don't depend on so much, I think like when you're getting frustrated with it, like for example, I had not a bad experience, but I had a significant decreases of my viewership on Twitch a couple months ago, and I was getting super frustrated with it because when you're used to having a certain amount of, I want to say success, but when you reach the point, it hurts when you digress from it, like when you go like back to where you were like last year, 2 years ago on your viewership, for example. And I know I got so frustrated with it, I took like a 2 weeks break off Twitch, and I was like, you know what, this is frustrating, this is getting really hard on my mental health right now, and I don't need the stress. And I dropped it for a couple of weeks until I felt mentally there enough and mentally ready to get back onto it. And honestly, it felt good because my boyfriend could witness on that. But I think it was in November, my views on Twitch hit an all-time low since I started streaming. And I would finish my streams and I was, like feeling super disappointed and wanted to cry and wanted to never stream again. And that's where I hit the point, you know what? I have a full-time job. I don't need to do this right now. There's still like my university finals going on. So that's when I just took a mental health break. And I haven't streamed, I think, for 2 weeks at that point. And I think at that point, that was the best thing I could have done. Because now, my motivation is back, and now I'm back at it again. My views are good again, for my standards, that is. And, that really helped. But I think that's more of a had in that topic.
I think that brings up a good point though, right? Like that sort of mental break, that chance of relief to give yourself. Rest should be considered a little thing in the day. You should be able to be happy when you give yourself the time for you. I don't remember how long back, but Lil, you remember when we talked about, giving yourself self-care? Like self-care is a little thing you should give yourself. Like you need to give yourself that time, and it may be a night, it may be a week, it may be two, it may be whatever long, but you self-care always comes a priority, and it should be, my opinion, a little thing you're happy with, because you're not going to get anything done if you're not caring for yourself.
No, for sure. You need to care. You need to take care of yourself. Like no matter how much you enjoy creating content, how much you enjoy, doing your thing out there. If you're not able to provide a safe place for yourself, if you're not able to keep a certain level of well-being, I don't think it's worth it. Good money of it, or survive off of it. My biggest priority in life is to be happy, is to have a good mental health. So I am not purposely going to let myself into a position that does not allow me to just reach those bases. If I cannot be happy doing what I do, what's the point in doing it, right? So I think that's the most important for me. I need to be healthy. I need to be happy or satisfied with what I'm doing.
That kind of brings in something I want to touch on. So last week we had Dark on, and he talked to us about this sheet. The job that he works at has them take a sort of class on analyzing how they feel throughout a day via a sheet. So you have 4 separate columns that have a variety of words to describe, negative aspects. I'm feeling anxious, I'm stressed, I'm feeling down. But the last column is the joy column, a happy column. It has a lot of positive words. I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling ecstatic, I'm feeling good. I think throughout a day for self-care, self-reflection should be something you're often doing too, right? Self-reflection should be a little thing. You want to have a good understanding of where your mind state is at, you're feeling at, if you are feeling motivated at all to do anything. There. Thank you very much for linking that, Doc. I'll make sure to put that in the comment section for YouTube. But you should do self-care and self-realization throughout a day too. You keep an idea of where you're at. Lilo and I message back throughout a day, and honestly, most of our messages are just in capitals and talking back to each other like you're yelling. But we'll be like, "Hey, how's you? I'm good. How's you? Okay, great talk," and come back and we check up on how each other's doing. And if something's off, we'll be like, "Hey, something's off. So what's up? What's wrong? And how can I help?" And it's like right to the bat. It's that's sort of a self-check. I mean, not everyone is going to have friends that can bounce like that. I think that's just the nature of like our hangout and stuff, because I ground her like half the time of week.
Well, and sometimes I'll just I'm very, very intuitive, and I've been getting, especially doing tarot readings and stuff on my streams, I've been getting so much more in touch with my intuition. So sometimes I'll just feel like you need to message astrals, and I'll message you, especially if I haven't heard from you all day, and I'm like, "Hey, what's wrong? Are you okay?" And you're like, "It's it's a long day at work, or I'm just stressed." And I'm like, "Okay, I knew something." It's not always something tragic or traumatic or anything like that, but sometimes it's just you need to reach out to a friend or whatever. So I'm definitely our friendship's very, very unique. So
No, definitely agreed. It's like I said, the support system is honestly what I would also call a little thing. Establishing a support system for yourself would also be a little thing. Ultimately, I think the big message today is almost everything could be considered a little thing, and you can identify everything as a little. But what, aside from a checklist and keeping things going down on a sheet throughout the day, what other things do you do to recognize when you accomplished a little? Let's just say it's such a busy day, you haven't had a chance to really put anything off. You've done stuff, but what's your method to realize you've done little things throughout the day to keep happy that I have done something despite maybe feeling that you haven't?
That's a big issue for me.
same.
I have this mindset that if I'm not being productive, if I'm not actively doing things, I feel guilty. And that's the thing I've been struggling a lot with in the last year, and it's something that's still there. I'm working on it, but it's gonna take some time until I get rid of it. And often I'm there at night and I'm like, talk to my partner and I'm like, I feel like I did nothing today. And then it's him that reminds me all of the shit I did today. And he's like, hey, you did this, and like you did all of those things while I just sat on a couch, watch TV. So I mean, like you did a lot, and like congrats, you did it. So a big issue I have is on the moment, I'm not able to see it. I don't realize it because at the moment when I think, what did I do today? I'm not productive then. And then there's just like the guilty feeling I get from not being productive at that moment that takes over everything. So I know I'm not the only one to have like this productivity guilt thing happening, but it really is something I'm struggling with. And keeping like written tracks of what I did during the day, like the checklist and stuff, is a thing that helps to be like, oh right, I got all of those things done today. I did it. So I know I'm getting back to the checklist thing. But I don't really have other ways at the moment because otherwise I'm not able to see it if I'm not in the moment, if I'm not doing the thing, or if I just finished doing the thing. It's like my brain forgets about it, puts it in a back jar, and then I'm like, now what? I'm not doing anything right now, so what is it worth, right? So I think it's something I'm still struggling a lot with, to be honest.
I'm the same exact way. I am the same exact way. Literally, I got like little chills when he said that because I'm literally, she's describing me right now. Because the checklist is I think that's partly why I like the checklist so much too. It's positive reinforcement for me because I physically need to see how much I got done because I don't process it unless I see that checklist. That's why I like checking stuff off so much because I'm the same way. If I don't do a checklist or if I don't physically see the stuff I got done, I'm like, I didn't do anything today and I feel guilty as hell. Like I'm like, I was a lump and I did nothing and I'm useless and I start tearing myself down. And my partner also, my fiance, is like, this is why I'm marrying him. He's like, no, you actually got like a lot done today. You're working your ass off on the daily. Like, so, same exact situation. So it's that positive reinforcement though. I'm validating you. It's the positive reinforcement of the checklist. You can physically see because our brains don't work the same way as everyone else's, I guess is the way to put it. Our brains are like, no, you didn't do anything. You should feel guilty. But then we have our checklist as our tool to help us see, like, no, you did do stuff today and you should be proud.
I'm the kind of person who is unable to take a day off because
Yes.
I'm not. Like I have an issue with anxiety and depression, and whenever I'm not doing anything, whenever I find myself like, okay, what am I doing now? I've been like scrolling Facebook for an hour. What the hell? And the guilt often switch into anxiety because I'm not doing anything and I need to physically, get stuff done. So it is once again something I really need to work on. Be able to take days off because if I'm not at school, if I'm not working my day job, I'm like, okay, I need to like create content. I need to work on cosplay. I need to stream. I need to do this. Otherwise, I go crazy. And I don't know if it's a need for recognition or a need to feel satisfied with myself, but if I don't do anything, I go crazy, literally. And I drive my partner nuts because I'm just around like cleaning the house or doing something. Like, okay, we need to go grocery shopping. We need to like take out the trash or whatever. And he's like, just sit down and watch TV. Fuck. And, that's a big issue I have too. So sometimes it's hard to get rid of that and actually watch TV for once,
For sure.
Driving Josh nuts since I quit my job in school, like because I've been so used to like going all the time because I was full-time school, full-time job, and part-time streaming. Like I was so used to doing all that all the time that now that I'm just like, I'm saying just full-time streaming, but I'm making content full-time, so I'm still doing stuff, but it doesn't feel like I'm doing stuff because I'm at my desk all the time. So I'm a little bit stir crazy. I'm like, can we go on a road trip? And Josh is like, girl, we have no money. Like, it's winter. What are you talking about? Like, you're right. I'm sorry. Astros, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I needed to feel validated.
No, that's fine.
I still lost control. This is our job now.
That's perfectly fine. No, what I was going to say was, like, I sympathize. It's a lot of the time when we kind of feel that distraction or that need to have to keep busy, because our mind's very active. right? It doesn't rest. It's a sense that there's always something to do and something needs to be done. Like, I have a big problem sitting still. I do like the stereotypical things, like my leg will bounce and I'll just like try to have to force it to stop. Or I'll have to get up if things are not busy enough to keep my attention at work. I have to get up for like 10 minutes to go for a walk around like the plant so that I can refocus. Otherwise, I won't focus on my work and I won't get it done. And like, it's not that it's not priority. It has to get done, but it's just your mind tracks off and loses a focus and moves on to something else, and you need to keep it busy and going. And it plays into that mentality. You need to keep busy with stuff to keep going. So it's hard to sit still. And but it is nice when you can finally sit still. It doesn't always happen, but it is nice.
Right? There's a name for it. I think they call it internalized capitalism, because it's the mindset that it promotes, that if you're not working, if you're not making money, if you're not actively out there, you're a failure in society. I think that's where it comes from. If you ever wonder why it's called.
The more you know. I did not.
Just
I will slightly point this out. This is not on topic of the little things, but I know there's been some questions
I am
in
sorry.
chat. No, it's not that. What I was gonna say, it's come up in chat a few times. So the similarities between Cammy and Lil. For record here, I knew both of these people separate. They both had their hair to half dyed. They both have very similar personalities. They're both cosplayers. This was not staged. They are both like this on their own, and they did not know each other was like this until they met.
I'm changing my hair soon. Let me figure out my branding situation, and then I'm changing my hair soon so that you guys won't be so confused.
I can speak French if you want. They'll see differences. I'll just
Pourquoi?
like go and like do my thing.
Comment ça va?
Pardon?
Pardon? Français? That's all I got.
We'll find differences. Oh boy.
Guys, I had a blast. This was a lot of fun.
It was.
We're kind of hitting the end. We're down to like the 3 minutes before 2 when we normally pull wraps. I've got no other kind of questions to pose or other last points to add. I mean, do either of you two? Alrighty. Well, Cammy, why don't you tell the fine people where they can find you at?
It's pretty easy. I'm Lady Camilia on every social media. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and then some. So Lady Camilia, pretty easy to find. I don't know what else to say.
That's all right. Lila, what about you?
You can find me at LunarLilith28 across all social media platforms: Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all of it.
All right. And friends, you can find me at Astro's Flame at Twitter, Twitch, here, YouTube, and TikTok at Astro's Flame. I just do things, PG and motivational stuff. So yeah, feel free to give these two lovely people a follow if hopefully you'd like to follow me too if you like our content. I think with that, everyone, keep believing. And Lil, you want to give us our closing sentiments?
I always do this. What are our closing sentiments?
Live, laugh, love, have a great day, and we'll catch you next week, friends. Take care. That means to say bye, Lil.
So yeah, I was confused too.